We want to win souls for Christ because that's the ultimate. Whosoever does not have Christ is in crisis. And if Christ is the answer, is I'm the way, I'm the truth, I'm the life. If we don't bring people to experience Christ's life, everything we are saying will be superficial, and the people themselves will not go far. Our stand is that Nigeria can change if we change Nigerians. But the only force that changes a man is the gospel.
PRICE is the Peace House Research and Innovation Center of Excellence. And it is a vision that is part of our leadership development for the young. And to raise for God usable instruments that are effective, sharp threshing instruments that he can use to conquer the battle against darkness that we are facing in all the societies of the world, but beginning from Jerusalem, which is Nigeria, and going out into Africa and so on and so forth.
Yes, so our vision in PRICE particularly is really much more about raising leaders, raising young people to be the catalyst of change in Nigeria, in particular, Africa at large and beyond. That's our vision. And in achieving that, our mission is exposure to trainings, mentorship, now particularly discipleship.
It's supposed to become a kind of prototype of a research center where people can come. You can be from one university or the other, but you sense that you need to come and have three principles that we do: heads, hands, and heart.
One of the major challenges in Nigeria is the dearth of people with character. Corruption seems to be endemic within the society. And so we saw that we could not possibly effect change without affecting the heart.
And the heart of the problem is the heart. So we felt that we are best positioned to begin to address the heart of the issues by dealing with the heart of men. So when people come here, our first concern is their heart.
We may affect the head, we may affect the hands, give skill, give intellectual capability, but if you don't affect the heart, the personality, the character, you will not be going far.
Set 3, talking about set 3 when they came in, I would say that they were a very challenging group actually, a very different group from the other sets, of which in the beginning I didn't notice, but it's as we started the classes that I realized that this set is another set. During matriculation, they were named mountain climbers. So remember that when they were named mountain climbers, when Brother Bile was about to pray, he said, as you are about to pray, resource persons, you must also pray to be mountain climbers. I think I prayed, but I prayed a shallow prayer, or maybe let me say a casual prayer. I didn't understand the depth of what he was saying and the need. I only understood as the group was on ground. So I had to realize that I need to go back to God, pray my prayer very well. So immediately I prayed that prayer because the Lord was saying that you are actually supposed to be ahead of them. As they are almost overtaking you, they are not supposed to be overtaking you. You are the trainer on ground. You are the one who has to show them how to climb the mountain. So when the Lord helped me, I felt it, that my heart is now enlarged, and I felt that I'm ready for them. So I remember when I was standing inside here and I was talking to them, I said, guys, I'm ready now. We are going to run.
Okay, who was I before I came to Prize? I'll say before Prize, I was very confused, a very, very confused person with no sense of direction.
I used to work independently. Teamwork was the greatest challenge for coming to Prize.
Before Prize, I have just been someone who has been confused in life entirely.
I was that person who was ill-informed about ministry, about career, and life in general.
Also, I'm somebody that also love working alone. Working in team used to slow me down. I used to think it slows me down.
I was living in sin even though I was so religious.
And I think before I came to Prize, I knew that I had this vacuum inside of me, but didn't really know what it was. But I knew that something was not just clicking right. And God made a way for me to come to Prize itself. And in His mercy, actually, I came to see that that empty space or that vacuum was not having Jesus inside of me. I know that there's someone inside of me now. I'm no more empty. Yes, Jesus is inside of me, and I'm grateful for that. If not that the door of Prize opened to me in mercy, I would still be maybe somewhere else wallowing in sin.
Prize has showed me that my confusion and poor choices stemmed from my lack of relationship with Christ. And so right now, it's not like I know exactly what's going to be ahead of me and everything, the whole picture. But then I have a level of confidence knowing that God has me in His hands, and then He has my back. And so moving forward, He's going to lead me accordingly. And then in the technical parts, my academics, my profession, Prize has given me like a foundational knowledge. I can almost say that it has rekindled an interest in my field, because I was almost running in the opposite direction before I came to Prize.
I've been hearing the issue of a complete person, a complete man, particularly as it relates to me being one, a person not having spiritual and secular divides. So I wanted that experience, particularly for where I'm perceiving that God will want to take me as a person. Prize came as an answer to that.
So I've always had a passion to always innovate, right? Use software to control hardware, and I could not get that in school. So the burden was there all along. When I got to know about Prize, I saw that, oh, this is actually what I was looking for. Now I have the opportunity to balance my software skills with hardware skills, right? Prize has in a way met the needs, not all of them, but at least it has given me the avenue to lay my hands on embedded systems where we are using software to actually automate the control of hardware. My project was creating the Android app to control the electric vehicle that we were working on.
We needed to work on something quite unique, and then we came up with an electric vehicle. I've never done it before, and then we weren't coupling it, we were designing everything. So we took on the challenge, God helping us, we were able to work on an electric vehicle.
So that's, I've always been using Python anyway, so far, but because I'm also abreast of AI development, so I was able to pick up AI tools. So when the idea of the app came, it was easy for me to, it was not necessarily easy though, but I was able to just pivot and just pick up the necessary tools to get it done as fast as possible. What was supposed to take months or years to do was achieved in very few weeks.
And then the electric vehicle is not too different from other electric vehicles, but what is unique in itself is that in the design and making of it, it was solely based on inspiration from God.
we thank God. It's a reality. It's a reality, and it's a project that meets the current demand globally. Like our projects now, when we're doing the research, we realized that actually 26% of carbon emission that is coming from transportation industry is coming from semi-urban transportation. So that's short-range transportation, and that 26% globally. That means if we can focus on electric vehicles that can solve short-distance transportation, we are eradicating 26% of carbon emission. Just think about what that would do.
It's a work in my field, so I found it very, very helpful, and I really learned a lot.
Thank God for Price. I've seen the beauty of teamwork, collaborate with other great minds, and bring out the beauty of teamwork. I could see that tangibly.
When God was confronting me about the pursuit I already had before coming here, that I need to drop it and let it go so that He will rebuild me. I was a die-hard teacher. I just wanted to teach in secondary school by all means, and mathematics. And to add to that, I'm an automobile student. I studied automobile engineering in school, and I hated that course with passion. So when the Lord was asking me to drop my teaching profession, I was asking them, what's next? What should I go for? But I didn't know how He was going to answer that question. But I continued following, knowing that in my heart there was no idol, nothing to pursue anymore. That which I hated the most, that which I don't want to even talk about, that which I just don't want to wrap my head around or even think about it, has become my project. I feel it is the Lord's doing. The Lord just came to answer my questions in mysterious ways, practically. So our final project, the electric vehicle, has pushed me into studying a lot about automobile. I've got to know a lot about automobile, much more than I knew before I came here, even as a graduate in that field. So I feel that the Lord had met my need in several ways.
I used to be this person who was just running a Christian journey on her own, and then with some little guides here and there. And I was also somebody that already lost passion for research, and I didn't like taking responsibilities, or let me say, I didn't like staying at the forefront and then being blamed for things when things are not working well. But coming into Price, it started all the way from Ledeyo. When I came to Ledeyo, I learned the proper perspective of discipleship. That's one. And I also I got to know about the life of Christ, and that stirred up my hunger. I was like, I really want to know what discipleship is all about, the proper discipleship. Then, if this life of Christ is real, I think I really want to know more about it. So that led me into seeking for opportunities for internship in Peace House, and eventually I got to know about Price, and I found myself in Price by God's grace. So coming to Price, Price has helped me in a whole lot of ways. First, I would say that Price has been a foundation laying period for me, because so many things I've known as a Christian. I think it's in Price I'm getting to learn, relearn, and then unlearn some things. So I think Price has done that for me, and it's still doing that. Also, before coming to Price, I was just this kind of person that didn't like research, or not like I didn't like research, but I just didn't have that drive. You just have to push me for me to take responsibility just on my own out there. But coming here, I saw how God would just help me to pick up responsibilities even when I didn't want to, and I saw how it just helped me. And right now I can say that by God's grace, going out there, research is not going to be a big mountain I will run away from. Instead, by Christ living in me, I should be able to confront research and do well by His grace and by His mercies.
Before I came for Price, I actually studied mechanical engineering in Enugu State University of Science and Technology. But due to our educational standard, I noticed a lot of lapses when it comes to hands-on experience. It wasn't really there. So there was this search in my heart to have a practical knowledge of the course I've studied in school. And honestly, it has been a very wonderful experience here in Price. I see God filling up those lapses when it comes to hands-on experience. What I couldn't do before, practically, I can now handle machines. Not that those machines weren't there in my department then, but it wasn't accessible. But this place, I have come to have a hands-on experience when it comes to welding and fabrication. By God's grace, I have that experience now. When it comes to design and construction, by God's grace, I have that experience now. So it has worth it.
So Price has really helped me a lot to meet some of these gaps in my life. Here I've learned diligence. Here I've met parents. I've met, God has given me brethren. God has given me fathers, mothers who are just there to correct me and all that. Part of the need that also brought me was that I needed discipleship. I've been hearing about discipleship, and I also needed people of like-minded. That was one thing I enjoy. I enjoy staying around people with like-mindedness. You flock together, especially as Christians, because out there they are very scarce. So coming to Price has really handed me that opportunity to rub with brethren that are like passion.
What actually brought me here is when after Ledeo, having seen the truth that the Lord exposed us to, so I was like, God, if had I known all these truths before now, I would have done better. But I hear God saying, stop mourning for your past days, for your soul. Now that you have been filled with the oil of truth, go and anoint the future. So with that encouragement, I was ready to enter into what I have been perceiving that the Lord have for me. But I sense during that day that God is saying, don't just rush into what I have planned for you with the truth you have received. Come and internalize it. So that was what brought me to Boko. Actually, I came for a Ledeo internship, and as God may have it, Mercy found me, opened the door for me to enter into Price. When I came into Price, another thing that the Lord began to say is that He brought me here to also, apart from internalizing the life of Christ, the truth that I have received, He wants to sharpen me in terms of professional, in my professional journey. And I think Price I have achieved that to an extent.
Meeting with the likes of Sister Nontle, who was indeed a trainer, she really trained my mindset, she trained my spirit, she even trained my body, because I can never imagine myself being under like a lock and a key in a class without moving away. So that were moments that I found it transforming to my life.
My encounter at Ledeo, I knew it that this is what I have been looking for all through my life. And even though there was not really acceptance from my family, nobody could understand me at that point, my friends, even my siblings. But there has been that hunger, that silent voice, still giving me assurance that, young man, this is where you ought to be. During the orientation, coming into sitting in the class, I was now seeing boards. I was now seeing the screens. I was like wondering within me, what are we going to be needing boards for? and all of that, because I came with actually my 2 big Bibles, actually ready for the journey actually. So, but to my greatest surprise, it was said that I needed to be trained in 3 very, very key aspects of my life needed to be trained. That is my hands, my head, and my heart.
I just came solely because I wanted the life. I was seeing myself that this is what God was saying, and I needed something that actually would help me to be able to fulfill the call of God upon my life. So when I came to Christ, the early days, it was the issue of identity that God began to deal with, my identity in Christ. And it came through the book of Colossians chapter 3, verse 4. And that verse 4 says that when Christ, who is your life, shall appear, you also will appear with him in glory. So the revelation I call from that place is that when Christ, who is your life, shall appear. So I saw that actually there is no life that I have other than Christ. And so looking down on myself would actually mean looking down on Christ. And then, so from that time onward, and God told me later on that the reason why it came like that was because every other experiences that I was going to be having in the course of my stay would be based on this particular foundation. Those fears and anxieties and all of those things that I was battling with before I came, the Lord has sorted them out, and I'm grateful to God for that. And I know that He that has started the good work in me will also finish it in Jesus' name.
I have many memorable moments, but I think one that stood out for me was the privilege and the opportunity to travel out to China.
For one, that was my first time traveling out, and so the experience, the things I saw, the developments, yes, it was good to see and watch and to experience another culture.
Nobody will imagine that a small and tiny village here in Boko, we can reach ends of the world. So that is just one epic moment I want to spell out as my most memorable moment. It really meant a lot to me then.
About my project here, at the web development end, I with my colleague, we worked on actually the Pivot School Management System.
We are working on automating the management and administrative system and processes of Pivot, their school management system.
Integrating the system from scratch, looking at the manual processes that has been on ground since the inception of Pivot since 2023.
I really want to thank God how far He has also helped us. It was a project that started with our tutor, Bro Samuel Amuel of blessed memory. He did a very good job within the brief time he had with us. He trained us, exposed us to what it takes to be a software development within that short of time, as if he knows that he's going. And that foundation he laid for us is actually what has been keeping us in our project.
So my future, one of my future aspirations itself is that, first of all, I want to be where God wants me to be, and I hope that in His infinite mercy, where He leads me, I will go.
Well, with what I have learned here and what I have gained here, I hope to continue knowing God much more and more, to continue to grow in all I have learned, and then to work in all that He has written and said concerning me. And then finally, ultimately, I really pray and hope that at the end, I hear God saying, well done, good and faithful servant, welcome home.
So Price is focusing particularly on those who have a calling, those who have a disposition, a tilt towards scientific research and innovation, who desire to be involved in creating and establishing workable solutions for society, and would like to first catch them at their youthful stage to prepare them for the challenges they are likely to be confronted with in later years.